Can we get another wire? Can we get? Hey, no, let's stand up front, man. We don't need this table. Can we get another wireless mic? Do you want to sit? Are you being serious?
Yeah, I lost my voice. I've got con voice. You know, you've heard of con crud. I've got the con voice going on.
So you rather sit? Okay, we're gonna sit. Don't worry about it. Thank you, though. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Where are you sitting? I'm here. You're here.
Hi. This is going to be a very serious panel. Only serious questions, please. I'm kidding.
He's kidding.
What's going on, people? Having a good time? Yeah. Nice. I have no voice. I went to the Georgia Bulldogs football game on Saturday night. Woo! Oh, it was bad. No, it was bad. Broncos. Yeah, there's that.
And you were screaming and screaming, hoping that your screaming would help Georgia win, but it didn't.
No, it didn't.
So you lost your voice in vain, basically.
Yeah, I lost it 2 nights ago, and it just, all the alcohol has not helped it come back. I thought it was medicinal, and it's just not working.
At the time, you thought it was medicinal.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
Okay.
What's going on? What do you want to talk about, Garrett?
I don't know, man.
I was asking Garrett yesterday. I said, Garrett, what is my flaw?
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't have a flaw. You're such a great guy. You don't have any. I'm like, come on, Garrett.
Well, let me tell you what I said. I said you're you have a great sense of humor. You're very funny. One of the funniest people that I know. You're intelligent. You're probably, of all the Star Trek Voyager directors, you're the best person to direct that has directed so far. There is my money. Thank you. Yes. And then I said, well, wait. There is one fault that you do have. And he goes, what's that? And I said, you never return texts. Ever. And so then the funny thing was, last night he did text me, and he goes, hey, you want to join me and my friends for a beer? And I go, oh yeah, okay, where? What time? And what about dinner? No return text after.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't get it.
Let me see your text messages.
I got it this morning.
You prove it to me right now. All right, fine.
I didn't get it last night.
I believe it.
Yeah, there's that. Can I introduce a friend of mine I grew up with? Athena, stand up. Stand up. Stand up, Athena. That's Athena. She was my very good friend. We grew up together. You know, I'm from Atlanta. We grew up together and did a local children's theater called the Children's Civic Theater that performed at the Peachtree Playhouse and among other places. And we grew up together. Just like a couple years ago, right? We were kids like 2 years ago. I was in school, and I'm very young. I'm a young man. No, but we seriously did grow up together and had a nice reunion dinner last night that I invited Garrett to.
Man, I was up all night waiting. I was just looking at my phone like, oh, that's not right.
What'd you say? What? Yeah.
That's quite all right. Yeah, next time I'll text you to make sure I can find the location of the beer meeting. For those of you who don't know, Robbie McNeil is actually from this area. He's an Atlanta area native. He grew up in this area.
Yeah.
And 2008, DragonCon asked him to come. He accepted, and he had to cancel. 2009, he also was supposed to be a guest, and he canceled. 2010, he canceled again. And the thing was, I was a guest in 2009. I became the track director in last year, 2010. I'm the track director again. But 2009 was interesting because I wasn't a director then, and I had Ensign Kim, 2 solo Ensign Kim panels and 2 Kim in Paris panels to do. And when he disappeared, they became 4 Kim panels. And the following year became 5 Kim panels. And then this year, I sent him a text. I said, listen, is it going to happen? Are you going to be there? He's like, yeah, I'll probably make it. It wasn't even a definitive. And so then my next text back to him was, well, if you don't make it this year, I'm going to have to send the Chinese mafia to your house to teach you a lesson.
That's what
at which point he did not text back after that. So how apropos.
Yeah. Well, a lot of you may know I produce all the Chuck episodes.
Yeah.
So So, yeah, and I direct a lot of the episodes as well, so the last 3 years, Friday nights are usually our late nights. We're doing all our chases and blowing up cars and things like that, because it's dark and it's Friday night. So I've been stuck every year, and this year, finally, I just scheduled everything around this convention. So we scheduled the whole show for you guys. But Garrett's been on the set of Chuck. He's come down and then visited quite a few times.
I have. I've come down quite a few times. But my goal was, you remember my original goal? I said, I want to be here for an entire episode from beginning to end, so I can see what it's like, the rigors of being a director, to see if I can even handle being on set that long every day from beginning to end. Yeah. But man, I had so much car trouble. I swear to God, that's why my keys were in Arizona. Inside joke. No, I had so much car trouble. I have a Toyota Prius, which I took in 5 times in a 2-month span. Okay, it kept stalling on me, and just everything would just.
The Prius is, it's a great car in many ways, but we had a Prius before, and I got rid of it because it was breaking down.
Right, it's all electronic, and everything when it's bad, it's bad. So I stalled 5 times, and I brought the car in, and finally they fixed it the 5th time, and the mechanic said, "Yeah, as long as Priuses have been in existence, I've been working as a Toyota mechanic, and this is the 3rd car in 17 years that's had this problem." And I go, "Great, why didn't you check the manual for that in the beginning?" But I never actually was able to make it to a whole thing. So I'm hoping on your next episode, if you allow me to try to come in, now that my car is totally fixed, I'd like to come down. Is that possible?
Text me. No, seriously though, Garrett, I got a great car. If you want to get rid of that Prius, you should try, I swear by it, it's called a Delta Flyer. It's a fabulous, awesome vehicle, the Delta Flyer. Designed it myself.
It's a beautiful shuttle.
Warp 10, that's all I got to say.
There you go.
Warp 10 will do amazing things to you.
No, because if you compare the other shuttles that Star Trek uses, they look like tissue boxes, okay? They're so boxy. And then the Delta Flyer, the sexy lines.
Oh, yeah, I got sexy lines.
Sexy lines.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep talking, Gary. His voice is crazy. I got a crazy voice today.
Oh,
Hank, are you here? Hank Wise? Sorry. He's not here. All right, I'm just going to call out all my friends.
How many friends do you have coming over, Robbie?
I have a couple friends.
You have 2?
Believe it or not, I have friends.
Okay. Even you're
not my only friend, Harry.
No, it's tough because you would think that on Voyager, us being the 2 closest in age, and actually I never believed that Robbie was only 4 years older than me. I kept going, there's no way. I was like, show me your license. And sure enough, he's 4 years older than me. But
and we're both like what? We're just in our 20s now.
Exactly. So, amazing. But we literally, because he was so close in age, I assumed that he would become my best buddy on the show, and it took, I think, maybe for the first 2.5, maybe 3 years on Voyager, every day that we worked together, I'd say, near the end of the day, I'd say, "Robbie, you ready to go grab that beer afterwards?" And he goes, "Oh man, I gotta get back to the wife. I gotta get back to..." That's my impersonation of you.
To the wife,
and I've got a kid, I got the baby. He's breathy. He is.
I'm very breathy.
He's a breathy talker.
I did my sexy voice for you.
And you.
I always did my sexy voice for Harry Kim.
Funny thing,
there was something. I don't know.
Have you heard our dub in German?
What?
If you're in Germany,
yes.
If you get a DVD of Voyager, the Germans pride themselves on being the best voiceover actors in the world.
When they dub it into German for the German market. But I have heard it.
Yes, but
it's awesome.
But the dub in German, these actors they're approximating our tone, our cadence, and everything of our voice, right? So the German Janeway,
she still talks like this, but when she's speaking German the entire time. So
speak German with that accent.
Yeah.
Duque with a German accent.
Ich habe eine spaceship. Ja, Kapitän. Ja, Lieutenant Paris.
So anyway, we have. Thank you. But I have a bone to pick with the Germans because when I heard it, they gave Robbie this really low it's a different voice. He's sort of like...
They captured my essence. What can I tell you?
Well, and then my voice, they gave this kind of...
I think they had a girl. They had a girl doing it.
It was a girl. It was a puberty voice. It was almost like, I was like, my voice was breaking, whoever they chose. Like I was going through puberty. And it just blew me away. And I thought, oh, okay, Robbie, blonde, blue eye, Aryan looking. So they're going to give him that tough, that German. So you got the good voice.
I got a good voice, yeah.
It was kind of a bummer.
Did he go, yeah, mom? That was yes, ma'am in German.
Yeah.
I don't really speak German. Yeah.
That was Paris's thing. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah. I wrote that line. That was my line. I wrote it. It wasn't scripted. I wrote it every time.
Yep. Robbie would always sit down.
Garrett.
And your biggest pastime on the set, on the bridge, was to read books, pretty much. He always had a new novel in his hand, and he would just sit down there, because the camera would usually be on us in front. You wouldn't see Robbie, so he got to sit there and just read a book for a lot of the time.
I read a lot of books.
He did.
I did. And you know what, though? I have to say, because you guys in the back had one up on me, because I was down front, I couldn't really see everybody behind me, what their kind of habits were, and how they would do the work, and how they would shoot the scene, because they were always behind me and I was always facing front. And one time I went up between takes to talk to Garrett or someone, and I look around, and over at Garrett's station he's got his lines taped to the console, and then I look down and there's Robert Beltran, and he's got his lines taped. And I look over at Tim Russ, and he's got his lines taped to the console. I'm thinking, why didn't I think of this? It was like 3 years in, and I've been trying to memorize my line, yes ma'am. It's not an easy line. And I never thought of taping it, yes ma'am, right there. But I finally was like, this is genius, you guys. Because we're supposed to be looking at the consoles anyway. We're supposed to be reading things. So yeah, it took me like 2 or 3 years, and finally I was like taping it up. I was putting all my lines down there.
I was the first one to actually do that, and I refined it to the point where I would use black electrician's tape, and I would take a silver Sharpie, and I'd write it in silver Sharpie on there. And I remember the first time Tim Russ saw that I had my lines taped there, he walked up and he's like, what are you doing, man? And I'm like, I'm just putting my line. He's like, cheating. He made fun of the fact that I did that, and he was like, what do you think you're doing? That's cheating, A week later, I walk over to his console, and he has all of his lines typed up. They're typed on it. It's all done very Vulcan-like, And I said, yeah, right, cheating. He's like, well, I didn't. I stayed up late last night. Son of a gun. But we had a lot of fun on that bridge.
No, we didn't. We had
No, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, we would call it bridge fever because we were there forever. That was just a very monotonous and very tedious time whenever we had bridge scenes, because it took so long. And I remember when Bob Picardo's character, the doctor, got his EMH. He's got his mobile emitter. Do you remember that, when he could leave sick bay? And he shows up on the bridge for the first time, and Bob Picardo, the actor, I remember it was 6 a.m., and he was chipper as can be, because he was so happy to get out of sick bay.
Let me interrupt your story, my friend Hank Wise. Please give a hand to him. Thank you. Hank is a lovely, lovely, dear old friend of mine. And we had beers and food last night, and sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your story.
And you didn't invite me, and you didn't tell me where it was. And what was my story? Do you remember what I was saying?
Yeah, Bob was coming on the thing.
Oh, yeah. So he was so chipper. And he gets on the stage, he's looking at everybody. He's like, well, now I'm on the bridge. I have my mobile emitter. I'm footloose and fancy-free. And so he's so excited, right? And we're all looking at him like, oh, you don't even know what you're in for. You do not even know. And by the end of the day, he was like, I don't think I want to be on the bridge any longer. It's quite tedious. And I go, yeah, it's tedious.
Yeah, he was used to coming in for one day, an episode.
One day.
All his scenes in one day in the medical bay. And
really quick. Those who
he
don't
did
know,
a great job. If you ever want to know the best job in show business, it's a holographic character.
Yes. an amazing job.
Limited to one set.
Yeah, the pilot episode of Voyager, Caretaker, it was a 2-hour episode, and normally we filmed one episode in 7 days, sometimes 8, so you would think that it would take 14 days to film the pilot, but they really wanted to put an extra pizzazz into it, so we had a 31-day shoot. And of the 31 days, McNeil and I were there 30 of the 31 days, okay? Janeway was there 16, all right? So we 14 days more than she did. Bob Picardo, 2. It was just, I wanted to sprinkle.
Holographic characters, I'm telling you.
Yeah, if you ever become an actor.
That's the future, really.
That's it.
All holograms.
That is it.
Yeah. You know what? We were talking on the Chuck set. I'm gonna segue to a Chuck story for a second. We were talking on the Chuck set the other night. Yay! Let's hear it for Chuck. So, NBC has announced that this is our last season. Very sad. And boo, I know, evil NBC. So we're talking about, what could potentially be the spin-off. And I thought of a great idea. I think this is going to be fabulous. So, Ellie and Awesome had a baby. Right? They have a baby, Clara. Ellie and Awesome's baby, Clara, about 9 months old now or so. I figured we put the Intersect glasses on baby Clara. And now you've got baby Clara kind of, lone rogue spy. Thank you. I think it's brilliant. It's like, look who's talking. The baby Clara's like, and the baby talks. We get the little mouth moving, and like baby Clara flashes. What do you think? No? No? Do it? Yeah, totally. The baby puts the glasses on, and it's like we animate the baby. It's a holographic baby, maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Baby kung fu, but she will know kung fu.
I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to keep the franchise alive.
But I will have to say, I was there on the last day of filming of the last season, and everybody on that crew, including Robbie, thought that was it. They were not coming back for a 5th year. And
we thought that every year for
Robbie, exactly. Robbie's actually thought that every single year, and I looked at Robbie and I said, "No, you'll be back. If I was to bet money on this, they will have another order for you." And then even Chris Fedak, the creator, he was there. He's like, "Nah, this is pretty much it." I go, "No, Chris, I think you'll get one more." And I was right. Thank you.
Okay, and what does your crystal ball say for next year?
Look Who's Talking, right?
We're going with Look Who's Talking. Okay.
I'll go with that.
All right, spin-off, Look Who's Talking.
Spin-off time.
Look Who's Talking, Chuck.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Do you guys have questions?
Oh, yeah, by the way, there's a microphone here, so if anyone wants to ask questions, you can queue up here, and for those of you who are not up at the microphone, you can sit down Indian style, cross your legs, don't squat, you're not going to be able to feel your legs.
Native American style.
Native American, I'm sorry. I know, I should have said that. I've been mistaken for Native American with this hair more times than I can count. I mean, it's ridiculous. I've been mistaken by other Native Americans. They'll come up and say, "Hey, Cherokee, what are you? What tribe, man?" I'm like, "Oh, Apache and Chinese." I don't know what to say, but I get that all the time. So maybe there could be a Native American bad guy on Chuck, maybe, that owns the casino, and I will be the guy with the long hair. Awesome. Can we tell Fedak that? Maybe okay.
This is great.
I don't know. He played bad guy good, actually. Star Trek of Gods and Men, anyone seen that at all? Yeah. I played a bad guy in that. Tim Russ directed that. He called me up. He says, "Hey, Garrett, you want to be on an independent Star Trek film?" I said, "Absolutely not." Then he said, "Oh, you're playing a character completely opposite of Ensign Kim." "Absolutely, yes." So, anyway. But, Robbie, let's take this first question for you.
Please do. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Meredith.
Hi,
and
Meredith.
I'm local here, so thanks for coming home.
Yes.
I think that y'all were the heart of the show, the friendship that y'all portrayed between the two. I think it's difficult to really portray a genuine friendship on screen, and when you get it right, it's very interesting to me that it keeps it going. I see it also in Chuck, that the two actors are able to do that. Can you speak a little bit to how you do that with someone maybe you don't know, and how you keep it going?
You mean like Kate and Jerry Ryan or something like that?
Us.
No, y'all.
Hello.
I mean, Chris Garrett told the story.
Did you get my text? I don't know.
Well, he told the story y'all didn't hang out too much afterwards,
Right.
but...
Oh, I thought what you meant is like when actors don't get along.
No, just...
Then how do they keep it going? I'm just trying to stir it up here. Come on, let's get a little edgy in here. How do we keep it going? I don't know. I think there's a lot of fun that we had on the set that really created that family atmosphere. Just for the hours that we were there. And by the way, we were there, like Garrett said, we shot a lot of days together. So you end up spending
17 hours.
17 hours a day. We had a 20-hour or 21-hour day.
22-hour.
22-hour day one time. I mean, it's... So, you know, you don't need to go out and have a beer to feel like you're bonded after 22 hours straight of hanging out.
I needed that.
Well, you need a beer, yeah.
3.5 years.
I'm going to need a beer right after this. I think that you spend a lot of time together on the set, and you kind of create an environment there with your sense of humor. I'll tell you, one place you really bond is in the hair and makeup trailer. To be honest, that's one place. That's where all the actors start their day, and you end up in the hair and makeup trailer, and
all the gossip happens there.
All the gossip starts there, and you really. You tell your stories about what you're up to or what's going on, and the hair and the makeup people become your best friends on the show, next to your other actors. So anyway, I think that's really where you can create great deep friendships, and we've carried it on with the boys, the guys that worked on Star Trek Voyager. All of us, we still get together.
That's right.
Often we started a steak dinner, a boys' steak night.
The Voyager Boys Dinner.
Voyager Boys Dinner. We go to the same restaurant. We do it 3 times a year, probably, something like that. And we go to the same place. We've got a frequent eater card.
Yeah, we do.
I'll show you.
Actually, we gave it to McNeil.
I'm in charge.
He's in charge of the frequent eater card.
Frequent eater card.
Did you lose it already?
No, I'll find it.
Okay.
It's in there somewhere.
But
I don't know why I've got so much crap in my wallet.
You do have a lot of.
And it's crap. That's it.
You know, Robbie, it was interesting. The first time that McNeil actually met me, I remember I came out of the kind of wardrobe area or something, and then he was. We met actually in the street in front of stage 8 and 9, which is where 8 and 9 is where the bridge set is and engineering, and we were right by the trailers. And someone introduced me. Goes, "Oh, this is Robbie McNeil. He booked playing Tom Paris." And at the time, my hair before I got on Voyager was this length, and they made me cut it. So he saw me with this long hair, and I remember he just kind of gave me this once over, like, you know how women always like, ooh, look at other women up and down. He did that to me. He kind of looked me up and down.
I gave you elevator eyes. I gave you the elevator eyes.
You did, but I almost felt like you were judging me in a way because of my long hippie hair at the time. Because you were like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. Were you doing that?
I was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got it.
But, I mean, if you want to have long hair and all, as you can see, very traditional, very traditional man.
Yeah. But I remember the day after 3 years of asking him to go get a beer every single day that we worked together, he finally, he says to me, I go, and it was almost like I expected the answer to be no every time. I'm like, you want to get a beer? And I'd already be walking off before the answer because I knew he'd say no. And then one day he sat there and he said, yeah, actually, Carol and the kids, they're in Palm Springs. I go, what? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you were like, oh my gosh!
I was so excited.
Go now!
Oh yeah, I was like a 5-year-old being told that I could go to Disneyland. I was like, oh yes, I could go get a beer. It was so exciting. Okay.
Those were the days.
Next question, please.
Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi. First of all, I want to back you up on the texting thing because a friend of mine texted me at like 4 in the afternoon on Friday, and I got it at 4 in the morning on Saturday.
See?
It happens.
It happens, Garrett. It's not my fault.
Fine. It just hurts my feelings. That's all.
Your long hair looks very nice, Garrett.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you so much for being here at Voyager. I just finished watching the whole series, and it's by far my favorite in the Star Trek world so far.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My question is, there's a lot of episodes about Lieutenant Paris's love of...
Careful.
I'm the Eternal Ensign. The Eternal Ensign is here. Yes.
Lieutenant Paris's love of cars and that sort of thing. And I was wondering if that comes from anything in your life, if you have that sort of vehicle love, and if so, are you a Chevy or a Ford guy?
Chevy or Ford?
I'm a Ford guy. I'm a Ford man, what can I say?
I'll forgive you.
I just bought, alright, so yes it does come from something, but I have to jump to right now.
Robbie has a new toy.
I have a new toy. It's actually being delivered tomorrow. It is a 1970 Mercury Cougar XR7 convertible. It's a muscle car. Very few of them. There were only 1,500 convertibles ever made. It's really cool. It's not a super show car, but it's in great shape. Rebuilt engine. It's a nice 1970 muscle car. And the Mercury Cougar from 67 to 70 was a very limited, sort of rare production. So it's one of those cars I've always wanted. So yeah, I guess you could kind of say that Paris had a similar interest in old stuff like that. Back then, I've ridden motorcycles for a long time too, and I had a Harley Davidson Road King, and I remember I was talking to the writers a lot about the motorcycle and riding and my Harley and stuff, and I think that's part of what gave them the idea of, oh, well, maybe we'll do a muscle car. They didn't want to do a motorcycle. I said, get my motorcycle on the show. I wanted to have the bike on the show, but I think that sort of maybe gave them an idea. I'm not sure. Cool. Yeah. And Chevys are fine too. There's nothing. I had a Camaro once. It's fine.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
Yes.
Alright, so my question is for both of you.
Yes.
And I was wondering how you two got involved in acting.
Robbie?
I got involved in acting. This is going to now include my friends who happen to be here. I got involved in acting. I moved around as a young kid. My father worked for GE in computer services division back then, and so he was transferred all the time. And I moved, born in North Carolina, moved to DC, Philly, back to DC, and then ended up in around 7th grade or so, ended up here in Atlanta, up in DeKalb County, and yeah, woo! Chambly, Dorville area, yeah. All right, Cross Keys High School.
Yeah, red line there.
Oh, yeah! Oh! Nice. So I ended up here in Atlanta, and my little sister, who may be coming to the con today, my little sister was taking ballet and dance lessons and things, and I didn't know any kids here, and my mom saw this flyer for a production of The Wizard of Oz that they were doing at the Children's Civic Theater, which is no longer around, and she said, you know, they need like 70 munchkins for The Wizard of Oz, and there'll be lots of kids, and maybe you'd like to do a play. And it had never occurred to me, honestly, to do a play. I had no interest in acting per se or any of that, but the idea of meeting a lot of new kids and because I didn't know anybody, I thought that was a cool idea. So I said, yeah, sign me up, you know, get me an appointment or whatever. And I go in the day and I'm supposed to sing a song and read a scene or something, and I freaked out. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. I can't do it. And my mom said, you know, you made an appointment and they're expecting you, and you need to keep your appointment. And then if you don't want to do it after that, it'd be fine. So I was like shaking. I was so nervous. I went in and sang Happy Birthday for the audition, and I read a couple, you know, Munchkin lines or something, and I was just terrified. But I got into the play and ended up doing it, and it was amazing. And the thing that, I guess, I could ramble about this forever, but the thing that got me interested wasn't necessarily being famous or wanting to perform. I think the thing that really hooked me was that sense of family that I found with that group at the Children's Theater. That there was a really tight group of friends, and I had been moving around so much, I felt like really felt like home, and it felt like a family. And that's what really got me hooked on all of it. And I ended up performing with that group, and I performed with Hank's wife, Linda, who is no longer with us, but Hank's wife, Linda, was my mentor and an amazing drama teacher and director, and she really inspired me creatively, probably more than anyone, to to think really big. And so it was that combination of, I think, the family feeling I got at the Children's Theater and Hank's wife, Linda, that really inspired me. So sorry I rambled so long there, but
it's your panel.
That's my story. So anyway, there you go. Applause for Atlanta.
How old were you when that Wizard of Oz production? How old were you at that time?
I was a munchkin. I think I was 12, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that.
Fairly young, yeah.
Yeah, I was about 12. Yeah.
All right.
And I performed, by the way, in Atlanta. I don't know how many of you remember. We performed at the Peachtree Playhouse. I also did shows at the Harlequin Dinner Theater back when the Harlequin. Do you remember the Harlequin Dinner Theater? Anybody? Some people, yay. It was I guess it was the Limelight Disco after that for a long time. But it was a really great dinner theater that was beautiful. I did 3 or 4 productions there, and did a play at the Old Academy Theater, and lots of little theaters. The Depot Players, which was Linda's theater out in Conyers. Yeah, it was great. And the Alliance, I did a show down there. So I did a lot of theater here while I was growing up. And that's what I always thought I'd do, was theater. I never expected to be in TV or film. Didn't really initially have an interest in that. I wanted to go to New York, and I thought, maybe I'd be a chorus boy for 10 years, and maybe I'd get a speaking part, and someday I'd, get a real role on Broadway or something. But once I got to New York, I started doing a lot of different things. So. Anyway, that's a long answer, isn't it? Wow.
It's okay. They like to hear it.
Okay. Well, then I have more. I'm done.
All right.
Thank you. Very good question.
I haven't even done my part yet.
What's next? Do your part. Jared, I want to hear.
The first performance I ever had, I think it was maybe first grade. I was cast in the play The Animals Have a Picnic, and I played the role of the pig. And basically, we walked over and sat down on stage, opened up a picnic basket, and the other 3 students, they just had ears on and a tail. Nobody had a full mask except for me. I had the full pig mask face.
Did you do prosthetics?
I had no prosthetics then, but it was a pig mask.
Okay.
And we opened up the picnic basket, and our lunch was bananas. Okay, so
pigs don't eat bananas, I don't think.
Thank you. So as we peeled the bananas, everyone goes to start eating their bananas. But I was so into my role, I forgot I had the mask on. So when the banana came to my mouth, it squashed all over the front of my mask, and all the kids were like just laughing. So that's when I knew I had comic timing at that point. And then and at the time I was in the British school system. I was in Bermuda at the time. And then the next year, I remember they were actually, I think we just got assigned, they just picked us for The Animals Have a Picnic. But they actually had an audition for the role for Androcles, and Androcles and the Lion, the story of the Greek boy that goes into the cave, and there's a lion, and he's afraid, but the lion has a thorn in his paw, and he pulls it out, and he befriends the lion. So in this British school system, I remember we were auditioning for this role of Androcles. There was only one person they were going to cast. And so it was me, the one Chinese kid, and a whole bunch of British Caucasian kids that were there, right? And so the teacher's like, all right, all of you are Androcles. We want you to walk around right now and pretend you're actually in a lion's den. You're very afraid, you're very aware of the fact that there's a beast next to you. Now, go ahead. Go! And so you got 30 kids walking around being all like cautious and stuff, and after about 5 minutes he goes, all right, we've picked our Androcles. Mr. Wong, you're Androcles. So I got that right there, so I thought, oh.
Garrett, can you reenact your audition? Oh, yeah. I think this is going to be great. I'm excited.
Something like that.
I can see why you got the part. Oh, I can see it.
I got it.
That's great.
Later in life, I moved I'm from Bermuda to Memphis, Tennessee. So I lived in Memphis from 5th grade until... Ooh, Tennesseans? Okay. From 5th... Thank you. My boy is right there. What's up? Okay, so from 5th grade to senior year in high school, I was in Memphis, Tennessee, and Memphis was a little difficult because there was always some rotten egg that made it a point to call me a racial epithet. every day of my life, pretty much. So for 8 years, I got somebody call me a name, and that to me was difficult. And I never got into high school theater because I felt they're not going to cast me in the lead role of Oklahoma. You know, I just kept thinking, being the Asian face that I was. But Memphis was actually, even though it was a difficult time, it really impacted who I was and sent me on the direction that I am now. The direction that I went, because all of that abuse, the verbal abuse, all that time, when I did finally decide to go into acting, which was in college at UCLA, my goal, like Robbie, I wasn't trying to be famous or rich or anything like that, which a lot of people go to Hollywood to get fame and fortune. I really wanted to portray a role that was non-stereotypical, so that possibly somebody watching the show would then refrain from calling somebody else a racist name. You know, so my whole goal was to try to make people, you know, exactly. Which is,
but that's the beginning. That's come from the beginnings of Star Trek. That was Gene Roddenberry's vision, you know, to find
infinite diversity.
Infinite diversity, and to find a world that we could show that. I mean, the things he was doing in the original series to kind of break stereotypes or hold a mirror up to what was going on socially at that time was really. Revolutionary. And I think it's been a great. I think Star Trek has continued to carry on that kind of tradition of trying to break stereotypes, and that's the one thing I loved about doing Star Trek was. It was a very kind of old-fashioned storytelling. There was always in the end, a moral to the story. There was something that it left you thinking about and kind of analyzing in your own life or reflecting on, and not every show is like that. I've done a lot of shows that are just purely entertainment or just purely kind of soapy in their storytelling, and there was something really kind of, I thought, I was really proud to be a part of that, that kind of storytelling on Star Trek.
Yeah. Do you know I had a meeting with the producers when I got the role, and I said, listen, I want to make sure that we don't do anything that... I want Ensign Kim to be an ensign first and not the Asian ensign, right? So I said, I don't want to go into a mess hall and go to the replicator and order a bowl of noodles. I was like, fried rice, please? I didn't want that, so... And I said, I'm very sensitive to that, and I remember one day, we had a... Do you remember first season we went down to this pleasure planet or something like that, and I don't know if you were with Kim or not.
I never got to go to the pleasure planet.
Maybe not. It wasn't Risa. It was just we went down to this planet, and they had non-Starfleet clothing for me to wear, and they actually recycled a shirt that Picard wore in an episode of Next Gen for me to wear. It overlapped kind of, so it looked a little bit Asian, and I remember the wardrobe wardrobe supervisor, Bob Blackman, was like, I want to show you this, because I want to make sure that this is not too Asian for you.
You have to be scared to death.
I did, I know, because I kind of barked it out, like, I want to, be the non-stereotypical guy, But the good thing is, my cousins who were born in Memphis, I called them up. This is after Voyager had been on for a while, and I said, look, I just want to know, when you guys were going through high school, did anyone call you any names or pick on you? And they both said, nope. So I kind of feel like I was integral in, helping them not get picked on, so at least I did something there. Thank you. Next question. Thank you.
Your story was long, too.
I know it was.
That was really long. I just want you to know.
Yours is longer.
No, I don't think so. I think yours was longer than mine, actually.
Next.
Hi.
This question is for Robert.
Yes. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Zan.
Hi, Zan.
Can you show Robbie what you're wearing? Who are you? Tell us.
You're R2-D2?
Oh, I did it's got sound effects. I'm not wearing them right now, but I did a Jewish version of R2-D2. It's a custom-made yarmulke.
That's a yarmulke.
That's a yarmulke, dude.
That's incredible. Would you take a picture with me after this?
Sure.
I really have to have a picture of this.
Robbie's wife is Jewish, actually. So
my wife is Jewish.
Look at the star.
My neighbors are very Jewish.
Awesome.
And they will love. Shalom. And they will love to have.
See that.
And Robert Duncan McNeil is just a good old-fashioned Jewish name. Think about it.
So I have a little setup for Garrett. Garrett, I saw you at the first ever convention, or second convention you did. You just come from Creation in California, and the show was still like first or second season, and you were like, holy, what just happened to me? And,
yes.
Because it was such a huge convention, then I think I saw you in Cleveland, and then about 6 months later, I was very excited because I think 6 months, a year later, Robert, you were booked, and I was like, yay, I'm going to go, and this was back in the day, so before Facebook and texting and all that stuff, and there were just flyers, And if you hadn't pre-registered, they didn't tell you at the guest change. So I take off work, I go all the way to Cleveland. You know, I'm like poor, I have no money. I go all the way up there, and then
doesn't sound
you
like
had
it's gonna
canceled, and Garrett was there again, and I was like,
I filled in for McNeil.
yeah, you filled in, and you were great, but I like just seen you. So
Yeah.
now that you're finally here,
It's okay. It's all right,
finally
dude.
get to see you.
You're not going to text me back either, are you?
Now that I finally get to see you after years of booking and canceling, and this is my favorite convention.
I feel so guilty. I hate myself right now.
Thank you. I'm trying to thank you very much for coming, and I'm trying to say it means a lot to me that you're here. And then this is my
Thank
favorite
you.
convention of all time. I love this convention.
Yeah.
So, yay. And so I'm just wondering what your experience here has been and what your impression of DragonCon is, because I hope you're having as much fun as we all do.
Oh, that's very sweet. Yeah, I'm having a great time. This convention is legendary, and Adam Baldwin, by the way, sends his regrets, and he really is going to probably shoot me with a large caliber weapon because I made him work on Friday, so he couldn't come here. I know.
It's Robbie's fault. Robbie's fault.
Well, here's the longer version. Some of you may have been at a panel the other day, but Zach Levi is directing. He starts directing. Tomorrow's his Tech Scout, and he'll be directing right after that. Anyway, Zach has had to prep and also acts in this last episode, and we just had to schedule everything around Zach. And so the only way for Zach to be able to go to casting and be a director prepping an episode was to schedule it in a way that made Adam work Friday night. So it really is Zach's fault. So I'm just saying, when you see Zach, yell at him. I'm just trying to pass the buck.
Yeah, pass that buck. Keep passing.
Anyway, what was your question?
How has your experience at DragonCon been now that you finally got to experience it?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Everybody's been really, really wonderful here. I mean, it's overwhelming the number of people. Today is very, civilized. It's very quiet. Everyone's so hungover, I think, that they just behave themselves. No, it's been great. The numbers are overwhelming. There's a lot of people, but in the signing room, where I've spent a lot of time meeting people and talking with people, it's been great. I really enjoy that sort of opportunity to meet people and hear what they think. A lot of conventions, they'll line people up and they'll just shuffle them through. And I probably don't like that any more than you guys don't like that. It's not fun. I feel like a robot in a machine. I'd rather meet people and talk to them a little bit and see where they're from and find out their names and put a name to a face. And so that's been great. And I've gotten to see my old friends. So that's been the best part.
So that means you will come back at some point?
I will. I hear there's a rule that I can't come back 2 years in a row or something.
No, I might be.
Is that a rule?
Well, that's...
If I text you, will you?
Yes, if you text me, you may be able to come back 2 years in a row. Yes. Next question, please. Hey, David. Hello. Hey. There's David Gordon over there.
Hey, David. Great show. Great show. Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hi. What's your name?
My name is Candace.
Hi, Candace.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I try to ask this at every select panel that I go to. Sometimes I don't know mine really enough. But I heard a story last year Garrett told about... No. I asked...
Delete Garrett.
I asked, what was the funniest thing that happened to you on set? And he told a story, my favorite, about Tuvok during Caretaker.
Was it Tuvok?
Crotch. His crotch.
Did he stuff something down?
Yes.
You just ruined it. What? I didn't ruin anything.
Yeah.
That hurts my voice.
If there were more stories along that line, because I love hearing funny stories.
Well, just a quick recap of what you're saying. You remember this? The first, where Caretaker basically is trying to see whose DNA matches his mate, and there's that scene where we're all in the bio bed, and we
Yeah, that was our 22-hour day.
Yes, we get that needle stuck into our chest cavity,
Yeah.
right? And so
I don't like needles.
everyone had like a different reaction when that needle went in. And I always talk about how, the needle goes into Tom Paris. He's like, he's all tough and macho, right? And then the needle goes into Kate, and she's like, it didn't sound painful with Kate. And then, and for Kim, I decided as an actor, if a 12-inch needle is going to go into my chest cavity, I'm going to scream my head off, which I did, and everyone said, "Wow, just like Chekhov." But what we were talking about was when Tim Russ came to do his bit. Okay, we all the guys, we got these skin-colored tights. Remember that? We wore skin-colored bottoms, and we were shirtless. And so Tim Russ, we had bathrobes on before we shot the scene, standing around the set. Were you there when Tim Russ did what he did? Which is
I don't think I was.
Okay, so he's in his bathrobe and he makes this announcement. Nobody really knows each other that well at that point. He goes, "Yeah, I'd like to make an announcement. I'm very self-conscious, and so when I take off my bathrobe, I hope that no one, please refrain from making any comments, or saying anything, or laughter." And we're all wondering, oh my God, what is underneath that robe? Okay, does he have leprosy? Does he have an extra appendage? What's happening here? And he takes off his robe, and all of a sudden, half the room starts cracking up, just and he starts rotating. Now, when he rotates where he's in profile to me, I see what he's done. Inside his skin-colored tights, he's packed about 15 pairs of socks in the crotch area. So now he has, looks like he has elephantitis, down there, and it's huge. And you remember, you weren't there for that?
I wasn't there for that. He did it again, though. He'd love to stuff things down his.
He did a lot.
Because he did it on the bridge.
Yeah.
He did it on the bridge one time.
No, that was the prosthetic thing he bought.
Yeah, well, I mean, same. Yeah.
Yeah. He likes to do that.
He likes to do that.
It's all penis.
Tim was very funny. To be a Vulcan, he was very funny.
He is.
He one time. I forget the name of the episode, but he was doing a mind meld with my character, and so it was his first mind meld, Vulcan mind meld on the series. He'd never done one yet.
Oh, it was on you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was the first one, and so he, I think it was season 1 or 2. I can't remember. Anyway, so I'm in sick bay, and I'm supposedly, ill, and I forget what my condition was. It really doesn't matter, but I'm lying there. And so he came in, and all day he'd been saying, this is my first Vulcan mind meld. I really want this to, maintain the tradition that Nimoy has started. And he was very, very serious about it. And I thought he was, being straight. So I was like, "Sure, Tim, anything, however I can help you." And he's just like, "All right, I'm really nervous about it. So when we get there, just kind of, just go with me. Just, I'm gonna really let it go." And like, "All right, do you remember this?"
No, but it's funny already to me.
So I'm lying down in sick bay, and the camera's real tight over here, and I'm lying, my head's down sideways, and Tim didn't want to rehearse it. He's like, "I don't want to rehearse it. I just want to shoot it. I just want to go for it." And I'm like, everybody's like, "All right, Tim, wow, okay, it's your first mind meld, but okay." So they roll the camera, and it's a real tight shot of him, supposedly like a 50-50 of his head coming down. And he puts his hands next to my head, and then he closes his eyes, and he starts kind of making some noises. And it gets real close up. He's like an inch from my nose, and he's shaking, and then all of a sudden he goes, "I feel good." But like in that moment of screaming in my face, an inch away from my nose, I thought I was going to die. This man was going to go crazy. Remember that? No! You weren't there? That's crazy. I pooped my pants. I pooped in my girdle, my Starfleet girdle.
What season was
it? Freaked me out.
What season?
It was the one where Paris was accused of murdering the girl with the feather.
Oh yes, that's season 1.
And so he had to mind meld me to
find out
what really happened. But yeah, I pooped my pants. It was bad. But he had set it up. He's so funny because he set it up all day.
Yeah.
You know, he built same thing like with you. He built it up until
So
you're
damn
like,
serious. You never know. He never lets it out until the last possible second.
Well, that's why it was a lot of that stuff. That's why I cast Tim in the pilot that I did for Samantha Who, which I don't know. I directed the pilot for a comedy with Christine Applegate called Samantha Who, and Tim Russ played the wise doorman who was always grumpy and very funny. But when I brought his name up in the casting, everybody's like, Tim Russ, he's the Vulcan, and he's not funny. I'm like, dude, he's funny. You got to meet this guy. He's got such a dry sense of humor. He's very funny.
Yeah.
So.
Tell me about that one time in the shuttle with you and Neelix and the whole camera crew, and when you had to vacate very quickly.
Oh, the gaseous anomaly?
Yes. Oh my God. It was Neelix who released the gaseous anomaly. Silent and deadly. Remember that?
Yeah, Neelix and Paris and Tuvok had an inside competition, let's say, for who could drive the other one out of a set or a room. It was childish and immature, but it was a lot of fun. But the best part, because everybody knew that the three of us would love to fart and then blame it on the other one. The best part was like when there'd be a really good fart and then the other two of it, like let's say Ethan Phillips laid just a nasty bomb. And Ethan would come up to me and he'd say, I farted, but blame it on Tim. And so we'd go, oh, Tim, God, are you kidding? And everybody knew that we had this game, so they believed us. Like if we, so a lot of times Ethan and I would blame it on Tim, or they'd blame it on me. So it was mindless, numbingly mindless entertainment, but it was fun.
Tim got so into it, he would actually eat the foods that would create more gas the night before. He'd walk up, he goes like, hey, Bubba, I ate granola last night.
Oh, he would
had
have more granola and yogurt. He's like, I had 2 yogurts and granola. Watch out.
Watch out. I got all the ammunition I need. And in fact, do you remember the day on the bridge where Tim requested the sound guys to come over and record his...
Yeah.
So I'm looking over, I go, what's going on? Because all I see is Tim is kind of leaned over like this. And you've got all the sound guys with this boom right up to his butt, right? And I'm like, what the heck? He went on to do, I think it was a minute and a half long. It was like... It went on so long.
He is not that good.
No, he left a long...
He did it?
Yeah, because afterwards he was laughing so hard. He goes, I've never left one that long. That was a long one. Like, yeah, long one. Granola. Yeah, that's what he did. Ridiculous.
Oh, look, you're offending people. They're running out of the room.
There's always a few people who walk out of the bathroom.
They're afraid. They're afraid that I'm going to let one, and it's going to... The whole room's fire alarms and everything. EMTs, it's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
I don't fart anymore. I don't. I got rid of all of them.
That's awesome.
I left them all in space. Yeah.
One day I'm sitting in my trailer looking over my lines, and I knock on the door. I go, yeah. He's like, McNeil. I go, come in. He comes in. He goes, hey, I got a gift for you. Turns around, farts, and closes the door and leaves. So left it in my trailer. I thought that was so not cool. Because I was an innocent bystander. I wasn't a member of the Fart War Nations, okay? I was just an innocent victim to all of this. It's really stunk, literally. But anyway, thank you for your question. Can you still feel your feet from sitting down there? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I have 2 questions. One is for Garrett. What was it like always being killed on the show? Like, I think in season 1 alone you've been killed like almost 3 times.
Thank you for bringing up pain. Memories of pain. Yeah, I was the first character to die and come back to life. But it's tough as an actor to, act that because I haven't died before. So I really just, it's weird. But
You're dying right now.
Kim got everything. Kim got tortured, killed, probed, sticks.
Because we would always say, all the other actors would always say that Garrett suffered better than anybody else on the show. I mean, he could suffer.
Marvin Rush said that, right?
Yeah, you
He's like, man,
suffer
Garrett,
good.
you do suffering good.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
So they
that's
write good
big.
suffering for you.
I know.
Well, like your needle story, you said.
The needle, I did scream.
You didn't go with it.
Yeah, I didn't do the cake. Yeah, the pleasure moan. I did.
The pleasure moan. You did a.
I did what Tim Russ did to you on that bio.
Yeah.
And my second question is for Robert.
Yeah.
What went through your mind when you realized that in the threshold on the script that you had to have lizard babies with cable group?
Well, what went through my mind? I wondered, how do lizards actually make babies? I was wondering, are we going to film that scene? And should I research that? Can we put that on television? It was kind of that sort of thing. And I also wondered, honestly, I'm like, if we have babies, like, we can't just leave them. We can't, I mean, these are our children. We should take them with us on the ship and raise the lizard babies as our own. And I've always wondered what happened to those little kids. Probably in college by now. Anyway, thank you.
Could you see like one of those lizard babies coming up to you with a Janeway voice?
Father. How are you, Daddy?
All right, next question.
Hello.
This one's for Garrett. Do you think the Harry 7 and 9 relationship should have developed further than what it did?
Hell yeah. Okay, you know that I shot that scene in the sick bay?
Yes.
It was the mess hall. Yeah, that scene where 7 of 9. I try to lure her down to the mess hall and trying to get her, trying to hit on her, and then she calls me on my bluff. She's like, "Oh, so your pupils are dilated, blah 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 blah." And so, Kim, do you wish to copulate? And my response to that was ... stammer, no. I'm reading that script. I just thought, wait a minute, this is not right. Hold on. After that scene was done, they yelled cut. Jerry Ryan looks at me and she goes, "You missed out." She turns to the crew guys and she goes, "Any takers?" And they're like, so horrible. Stand up. Next question, please. Thank you. Hi. We're going to get these last two in, even though we're going to get these in. Go ahead. Hi.
People keep talking about 20-hour work days, and after 20 hours of partying yesterday, this is how I look, and I'm only 20.
Yeah. Sure, of course.
How do you do it, and why don't the people in the future all have bags?
We do. We have good hair and makeup people.
Do you stay there?
Well, the difference, I mean, now that I've been on both sides as an actor and as a director and producer, I have to say, the actors do work long hours, but I didn't know how nice I had it when I was an actor, because you get breaks as an actor. You rehearse, and you go back to your trailer, and you wait 20 minutes while they light, and you've got time. Although the pressure as an actor is very different than other crew members or directors, because there's all this, work, and then all of a sudden they go, okay, and go. And everybody's looking at you, and you don't want to screw it up. There's a different kind of pressure. But there's also breaks. So for the actors, you can take naps. Maybe you're not in every scene that day. You might be in the first couple scenes and have a few hours to take a nap or things like that, and then come back for the last scene. So that's an actor's schedule is very irregular, but you still have a lot of time to rest, and you have people throwing makeup on and trying to make you look as fresh as you can. The crews work very hard. Crews, they come in before they work so hard. They come in before the actors to unload the trucks and get the equipment ready, and when we call wrap, the crew is still there, packing up the cases and moving the carts, and they certainly don't get all the glamour and the money that actors do, or the attention that actors do. So I think crews are very underappreciated, and we couldn't make these shows. Star Trek could not have been made at the kind of level we made it without an incredible crew. We had a wonderful crew in Star Trek, and Chuck's crew is the best I've ever worked with. They're phenomenal. What those guys can do.
They're good. Yeah, they have better craft service there too.
Yeah, we have much better snacks.
Food is good on
than
Chuck.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, the snacks on Star Trek made everybody fart a lot.
That's true.
And on Chuck, I never fart. So.
Thank you.
That's called a callback. When you go back to the old joke, and
it's a Hollywood thing, stand-up comedy thing.
Thank you. And Garrett, I'd come back to hear you do imitations of everybody just for a whole hour.
Oh.
Hey, wait, you guys. Hold on 1 second. Can I put my sister on speakerphone?
Yes.
Kathy?
Hey, are you still busy?
No, I'm not busy. Yeah, it's nothing going on here. What are you doing?
You have me on speaker.
Yeah, maybe. Are you coming down?
Yeah. Tell everyone I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. Great. She'll be here. Okay. Yeah, just don't text me because I can't read the phone. All right. We'll see you in 5 minutes.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
What's her name? Kathy. That's awesome. That's cool. Next question, please.
Hi.
Hello, this is for both of you.
Great.
At cons, as a fangirl, I have a lot of fanish moments, especially when I met you guys yesterday for the first time. Does that ever happen to you, whether it was at a con or when you were working and you just see somebody walking by and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God?
Well, it happens to Garrett. Anytime a really hot girl walks by, I see Garrett. Like, oh my God. He gives them elevator eyes. I taught him that. I taught him the elevator eyes.
Do you have any fan moments yourself when you've seen?
I had a fan moment yesterday with Stan Lee, who, Stan Lee, I've met before. He's, a god. He really is, and I'm personally on a mission to get Stan on Chuck before the season ends. I really want to get him a walk-on role or something. He's just he's hilarious. Have you guys been to a panel of Stans ever? Or met him? He's just freaking hilarious. He's just funny and brilliant, and he's a legend. So I definitely have a fanish moment with Stan, and feel very lucky that I've gotten to meet him and had chances to talk to him before, and hopefully I'll get him on my show. So. Any fanish moment for you? Besides me?
Actually, I get like that whenever I see you. I get kind of fanny, but no.
You always get fanny.
Do you shake when you see him?
I do shake.
My friend literally had to hold my hand and walk me out after.
Really? At the Walk of Fame, you were shaking that bad? Him or me?
Yeah, I was.
Who are you shaking for? Oh, both of us got shakes.
Well, I got to kiss Robert, so I was like.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
Well, that was his condition, so can't blame a girl.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that.
That's right. For me, my fan moment really, my first intro to sci-fi was Star Wars, so anytime I've met any of the original Star Wars actors, I'm like, oh my God. So I get a little fanny there, for sure. But
we had Mark Hamill on the first episode of Chuck this season.
Did you really?
Yeah, we did.
Damn, you didn't invite me down?
Mark Hamill. Yeah, he used the Force. Did you guys see the Zach Levi's tweet where Mark Hamill used the Force? Did you see it? Did anybody see it? No. I thought he tweeted this video. He shot this very funny video where you should go and search it, but I'll tell you kind of what to look for. So at lunch when we had Mark Hamill on the set, Zach and Josh Gomez were sitting off to the side of the set, and Mark Hamill was in a chair, and his phone was sitting next to him, like right here. And Zach and Josh were going, come on, please, Mr. Hamill, please, just do it once for us. And he's like, no, I don't do that anymore, guys. And they're like, oh, come on, please, we just want to see you do it once. Finally, like, Mark's, okay. And he puts his hand over the phone, and he moves the phone, and our prop guy had a little wire, and so he just like, he used the Force to move the phone. And Zach and Josh were like, yes! Yes! I think he tweeted that. I'm pretty sure he did, but
Oh, God.
check it out if you guys follow Zach Levi's tweets. I think he posted that somewhere.
All right. That's about our time right now. So
That's it, right?
thank you so much, guys.